Hello and welcome to another episode of the very sporadic series It's Not a Movie, where me and Connie discuss a TV series. Stranger Things Season 1. We never talked about this. We never made a video about it. I think I had always planned on doing it and we just never got around to it.
We're doing Stranger Things now?
Yeah.
We're just Season 1 then?
Just Season 1,
okay,
yeah.
because I was going to say we haven't even finished Season 2.
Yeah, so...
For the second time.
Brief kind of background, we watched it a few weeks after it came out initially 2 years ago. You know, it came out on Netflix with very little fanfare, you know, and then soon it started to just really pick up momentum online. Everyone started talking about it. My friends were talking about it. One of my friends was doing like fan art of it already. I was like, alright. And then I saw this article that said every 80s movie referenced in Stranger Things, like a side-by-side comparison. I thought, we'll probably like this show. So we started watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. You know,
oh, we binge watched it.
Yeah.
I think we finished it in 3 days.
I think it was more like 4 or 5 days, I think.
We watched a couple of episodes every night.
Yeah. And then the second season came out in 2017. Enjoyed that, and we'll talk about that in another video maybe at some point. But I then watched it all over again with my mum, not soon after I'd first watched it. And then recently we decided to watch it again. It had been, you know, a couple of years. And so... our thoughts on Stranger Things. When I first saw it, my first thought was, that's the best thing I've ever seen that is so completely derivative of so many other things. Like, there are parts in the series that made me go, when I first saw it, just like the alien egg and like all the different beats that just come from other movies, like the, you know, when they're riding away on the bikes and stuff and the government agents are chasing them down, straight out of E.T., you know. And it kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit at first. But the second time around, or the third time around, I guess, us watching it now, I enjoyed it even more, I think. And I remembered why I really loved it. And it's not because it references all these things that I love. It's because it's a really damn well-made show. From cinematography to music and sound design and...
solid.
And characters, you know, really likable characters. And that comes from them being incredibly lucky, but also incredibly smart with the choices they made in casting the young kids.
They're really good.
Yeah, so you got Winona Ryder, who, she got a bit of flack when this first came out. People were like, oh, she's a bit over the top and everything. I think she's fantastic.
She lost her son.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone would
she
be.
really conveyed this sense of like urgency and just panic and also just, what's the word?
And she has a history of mental something as well, they mentioned. Yeah.
Does she? Oh, I don't remember that.
Something in the family about mental illness.
Oh, I don't remember that. But what I love about the show is that like the first half or the first few episodes, you can really, well, I guess not really, because at the beginning you do see Will kind of follow this kind of monstrous presence, you know, or at least in the shadows. But you can follow along from the perspective of the outside characters that she is just a bit mental, you know, and that ties so completely in with Hopper, who is it Hopper?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I get mixed up with Cooper, and they both they both took a picture together once, and they're like, you know, Hopper and Cooper. So that just kind of it makes me mix it up in my head. David Harbour, great as Hopper, just such a great character, because when you first start with him, he's just this bum, and then you realise he's the sheriff, and then, you know, he doesn't really take his job seriously, and you're like, oh, this guy's a bit of a knob. And then when he gets into that mode where he really wants to do something, he just becomes this kind of like, you know, really cool character.
Becomes really personal to him, though. That's probably why.
Yes, and then that's it. Because it ties in with his history and stuff, and so he can understand why Joyce is probably overthinking things. So just seeing that mystery unfold all over again, even though we've seen it before, was so enjoyable. You know, because the kids believe one thing, the adults believe another, Joyce believes in, you know, and it's that thing about a mother, a parent, and their child, and that connection they have, and it being more than, you know, logic, I suppose. So, how do you feel revisiting it, and your thoughts on it in general?
I feel like I love it even more.
Yeah,
I'm picking up on things that I didn't see the first time, and I feel myself looking forward to certain scenes that I remembered as well. And... well, it's always like that. If you really enjoy a movie or a series the first time around, and the second time you can kind of pick up on like how the music is and cinematography and stuff like that, you know, and just smaller little details and so on. It's really good. It's not good. It's great.
Yeah,
it is. It's so solid. That's what I want to call it.
Yeah, so solid crew.
I don't get that.
Okay, never mind. I love the kids. You know, just they mostly feel like they really are just these best friends and outsiders, nerds. You know, and you take that back to the 80s where it's not as accepted as it is these days to be into that kind of stuff, Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. And there's just a real sense of camaraderie between them, and you just believe it. You know.
Yeah. Kind of like in It, like I think they made them like hang out a lot outside of that or something.
Maybe, yeah.
So they were like actually friends.
Yeah, and then of course we have Eleven, who's a very memorable and central character in the show. What do you think of Eleven?
She is really great.
Yeah.
But the boys are better.
Oh, you think so? I
think so. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, she's really good at acting out and stuff like that, but I don't know. I feel like, well, they're very different, aren't they? She's supposed to be this very sad and angry and stuff person.
Well, I think she's a great actress, and I think that she does so much without saying hardly anything.
Yeah,
and that's a real strength.
For her age, she's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think I'm just remembering certain things from season 2, which kind of let me down because I was expecting her to grow a lot after the first season and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think because there were certain scenes, like one of the major scenes in season 2, that I'm just gonna say that she did amazing, and I remember having chills and stuff like that. And she is really great. It's just I compare the other kids, you know.
Yeah.
And then you have not Will, but Mike. He's really, really good.
Yeah. And it's weird seeing Mike now, because even in like It, which was only like a year after Stranger Things, he looks so much older, and you know he just looks so baby faced in the first season of Stranger Things, and now he looks like a proper teenager. It's really crazy. But I really like his character, and you know, there's lots of cool mini characters like the science teacher, and you know,
I really like him.
Yeah, he's cool, and just likable characters, and the kids in particular. But yeah, the actress who plays 11, I think for me maybe slightly a bad decision on my part to follow her on social media, because then you see what kind of a...
Maybe that's why I'm thinking like...
It kind of breaks the aura a little bit of that character that is so great, and you know, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have, you know.
I do follow her on Snapchat, and I've seen...
Oh, I don't follow her on Snapchat, but I think I followed her on Instagram for a while. And
it just made me realise how young she is, and she's actually still a child.
Yeah, exactly, that's the thing.
But even though she's a child in the series, when she has that look, when she's like killing people and stuff... You know, it's like a totally different person.
Yeah,
I think it was a very wise choice of them to shave her hair off.
Yeah, really.
I think that made it easier for her to go into character, even though I understand it must have been hard for her. I think she looks great in the second series. It's just also that part with the other kids in the city that I don't like in season 2.
We'll get to that.
I'm just saying, because I've seen season 2.
True. It does inform.
That is affecting the way I feel.
Yes.
But it's not her fault. That's the writer's fault. That part happened in season 2.
Yeah.
It was kind of necessary, but unnecessary at the same time. So that's why I'm split.
Yeah.
Season 1, absolutely amazing. How she's sad, how she's angry, everything like and scared. She's great. I don't know why I'm being like, you know, but I am comparing her to Mike a little bit. Yeah,
I understand, but I do think just acting wise, she's better than the other kids. But I enjoyed those characters more, perhaps because of the fun scenes they have together. Anyway,
true. I mean, she has to go through a lot of darker emotions, whereas the curly hair boy with the Dustin.
Yeah.
So funny.
He's
I
great.
love him.
If you don't love Dustin,
but
what's
he's
wrong
the
with you,
funny
honestly?
character. You don't see him being really scared. When he's scared, he doesn't look.
No,
I feel like he's still being a little funny when he's scared.
Yeah,
like Ron.
Yeah,
Ron Weasley.
When he gets scared, he takes a call to action. He's like, right guys, we got to do this, we got to do that. Like he really is like a on the ball kind of guy. So he doesn't really retreat into like.
But Will, oh my god, he is great in season 2.
Yes.
Breaks my heart. He's really good in season 1, but we don't see him much.
But he's not really in it that much. That's the thing.
But whatever he's doing is incredible. And then you see Mike more. And last boy's name?
Lucas.
Lucas.
Yeah.
he's probably at the bottom.
Yeah, but he's still
kids.
good.
But that's because he doesn't really do much either yet.
Yeah, that's a good
I hope
point.
he's going to get a lot more attention. Because
Yeah.
you have the funny guy, and then you have the guy who's always in trouble because he's in the upside down, and you have the girl, and then you have the guy who likes the girl, and then you have Lucas, who just doesn't like the girl sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did he do much in season 2? Well, I can't remember.
Yeah, and we're just starting season 2, and maybe we'll talk about that. But
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. You just have to think about it, like comparing it now, because it is the first time I've seen the first season after watching the second one, and it just reinforces why I think the first one's so great. And also, I do think there's something to the idea that season 1, they made that before it was a thing. You know, like season 2, they made that knowing this is a really popular thing and there are millions of people who want to see this. So down to the actors maybe being aware of that, down to the way they wrote it, the way that they incorporated more of Barb's storyline into the second season because of the quasi backlash from the first season. Jonathan, I think, is a really good character. I like the actor who plays him.
Yeah.
And he really just shows a sensitivity and like I genuinely feel like he loves his brother. Like that really comes across, even though he doesn't share it. And his mom, yeah. But I said mom then instead of mum, which is interesting. Kind of like just transferred over onto me. And there was another thing I wanted to mention as well related to that. Steve, right? So I really like that Steve is a character who is this typical kind of popular guy dick, but you know, over the course of the two seasons, I think I grow to like him more, and I like that they didn't make that typical, where he turned out to be the dick, and then that was it, you know. And so it's more complicated, that kind of love triangle with Nancy. So I think that's a really well done storyline in the first series.
See, that's the thing. I keep thinking about all the characters that have been in the series, even the bitchy girl and her Tommy, is it?
Yeah.
Her boyfriend?
Yeah.
Like, they don't have that much to do in the series, but they're really good.
Yeah.
I think. I genuinely dislike both of them.
Yes,
so they're really good at doing
really
what
good
they're
at
acting
being a
as. Yeah, exactly. And then you have that woman in the agency or whatever, and the guy from the first series, you know, the grey-haired guy.
Oh, of course, yeah,
Papa?
Matthew Modine, you know, just legend.
I mean, they're not in every episode either.
They're
really, really good.
It's a real chilling presence to those characters and kind of the things they've been up to, and right from the beginning, when you see her kill the guy in that restaurant, you see that they're you know, they don't mess around.
Yeah, and the guy in the restaurant, he didn't do much either, but he was great.
Yeah, I really liked his character.
Every character in the series.
I'll say there's a real weak link. It's the woman who works at the police station, who when Jonathan gets taken in for hitting a police officer, and Nancy's there, and the woman's like, "Oh, here's some ice for his face," and she's like, she says something like, "Oh, can't you tell he's in love with you?" or something, and she just really isn't.
True.
She's not a good actress. It feels like someone standing there reading lines off a sheet, and both.
Ouch.
Sorry, both times
What if she's watching this and crying?
All 3 times I watched this, I was like, "Oh, she kind of stands out." And one really micro gripe is when Hopper and Joyce go and meet Eleven's mother.
And, the sister.
And her sister, I guess, Eleven's aunt. No. The scene's great. But it's when they're like, "So what did she say that her daughter had?" And the sister's like, "Oh, telekinetic abilities, you know, all this kind of stuff." And as she's saying it shows clips from earlier on in the series, like using the telekinesis, using her mind. And it felt like a trailer. And the editing felt like a brief TV spot or something. And it was like, telekinesis, doing this. And it just, I didn't like that. So that's just a minor editing gripe where it just felt out of touch with the tone of the editing of the rest of the show. Maybe that's just me. But overall, and the music as well, very of its time, 80s inspired synth stuff. I think that's really well done as well.
Yeah, and they have some songs in there as well. Like,
oh, yeah.
Should I Stay or Should I Go Now?
Yeah, that made me a fan of that song.
Kind of things.
I do wish they'd somehow figured out a more practical way to do the Demogorgon monster, because it would have been more in fitting with the very 80s homaging they were doing. But the more I watch it, the more I'm okay with this CGI version. You know, I don't think it's perfectly done, but I kind of, you know, I get on with it more. The more I watch it, I guess. You want the
practical effects.
I feel like it would be better. And even when they actually make a point to show the science teacher watching the thing and going, "Do you know how they did that with like latex?"
True.
So it's kind of like, I felt like maybe they'd go the whole hog, but you know, it is what it is. And yeah, I love the show. At least the first series, and I remember liking the second series a lot. So we're gonna rewatch that and maybe come back and talk about that at some point. Anything else you'd like to add? Favorite episode or moment, perhaps we could end this with.
You first. I gotta think.
Yeah, me too, actually. But I think the episode when they find Will's body in the quarry, and I'm just like, what? Like, I was so stunned when I first saw that, and the way the music comes in and everything.
But I'd forgotten about that.
It's a really well done. But then also the moment when Hopper goes and puts the knife through the body, and I love that whole realization when he begins to see that this is actually, there's something more to this. Or maybe even the scene when Joyce first rigs up the lights, like that's even the music.
The music is really good. When the lights go, dun, 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 dun,
yes,
that
so
music
good.
is really
so
really
good.
nice.
And it's just this otherworldly thing, imagining that perhaps your child is gone and then you're actually beginning to communicate with it, which is, so that'd be my kind of favorite moments, I think.
I think some of my favorite scenes is where you see Eleven's powers.
Yeah, they're really well done.
She's being forcefully taken into that small room again, and she's being tossed in, and then she gets up and her look just completely changes like that, and she turns around and she just does that and she snaps her neck. It's kind of like a Darth Vader moment. Like, you can tell, like,
right,
fuck, this girl, she's she's badass.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't feel bad for the people who got their necks snapped because they're bad people. Sound like I would do the same, what's gonna happen? She's gonna go to jail. She is in jail, so just kill him, but she should have killed Pop as well, or whatever.
No, I think it would have felt wrong if she'd done that.
I would have done it,
I
but
guess.
That's because I know how bad he is, but she doesn't. And then also when she kills them in the hallway as well, just how everyone freezes is such like use the force kind of thing,
Yeah.
And I like how it drains her when she does all that stuff as well. That it's not unlimited, because then she could just kill everyone and everything.
Unlimited power.
Is it really though?
No, it isn't.
No. Yeah, that's one of my favorite moments, when she gets up and you for the first time see how powerful she can actually be.
Yeah.
I think. So she's stealing the show from me there.
Mm-hmm.
There are other things too, I just can't think of it right now.
It's just...
because it stands out for me.
It's so enjoyable, and I love this kind of format of these kind of not mini-series, they are series of television, but it's not like something like The Walking Dead, where it's like, right, we're going to get 24 episodes a year, and it's just, a little bit drawn out. Whereas with like 8 episodes, 9 episodes, it just feels like the quality is so much better, and you're essentially getting like a 4 or 5 hour long film, which you can enjoy over the course of a week or whatever. So I just really enjoyed this newer form. I mean, to even things like the OA, which I don't think we talked about, which is another great Netflix series, which is like 8 or 9 episodes.
Probably gonna have to watch it again if we're gonna do a review.
Oh yeah, forget it. Great show, but if you haven't seen the OA, it doesn't get talked about enough. I think that's a fantastic show, and I'm really excited to see the second series.
Is it confirmed?
Yeah, they started filming at the beginning of this year, I think so. It seemed like one of those shows that wouldn't get enough traction to get a second series, but I'm really glad it is. Whereas Stranger Things was such like a huge explosion when it first came out that there was no doubt they were going to do a second series.
Everyone was talking about it.
Yes.
It's like Game of Thrones.
Almost Game of Thrones level. So, right, we'll leave it there then. So, that's it. Stranger Things, big thumbs up from both of us. And definitely one we'll go back to every couple of years, I think. It remains to be seen.
Yeah, every time there's a new season coming out soon. I want to watch it.
It's going to be one of those... I mean, who knows where the future series will go, but I think that the first series alone is a nice standalone story. I love that we get to see more of it in the second series, but I think that it works really well on its own. I love, like, at the end when they're playing Dungeons and Dragons again, and he's like, that's it? That's the whole campaign? It was only 10 hours? Like, what about this and what about that? And it's just kind of them describing the show at the end, basically. So that's kind of funny. And...
I look forward to seeing the boys growing up.
Yeah, apparently
he showed me a picture of what Mike looks like now, and I'm like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Shit. And Dustin, he's just so funny in season 2. He swears so much, but then again, like when it's always funny when kids swear, and when he's gonna be a teenager, maybe it won't be that funny, but it's really funny.
Yeah,
I want to see like where it's gonna take him. I'm more intrigued about the kids
Yeah.
than the adults and the
Yeah.
actual teenagers.
But I love the adults and I love the whole cast for the
I
most
know,
part.
but they're adults. They're gonna say adults. The kids, they're growing up.
I know.
It's cool to watch them grow up, like Harry Potter.
And I would say like the two words that kind of encapsulate my feeling on the show is endearing and emotional. You know, it's like it's really enjoyable in a fun kind of way, but it has these kind of the characters are deep enough that you care about them, and yeah, so it's a great show.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Toodle-oodle.
He's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you, 'cause